All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Paul McMillan II, and welcome to another live New York session. It is August 24th, 2022. So we're going to actually do a trade on gold today, but before we do that, we're going to check the news. And as we can see that the US dollar was under some low impact news at 8:30. Same thing's going to happen at 10 o'clock, so we'll watch out for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start marking up supply and demand market structure from the 15-minute time frame to the 4-hour time frame. So let me get started. All right, so let's get going. So we're going to mark up our supply and demand zones. So I see a single candle demand zone here. So let me make this yellow. And then I saw price go all the way up to this single candle supply zone here. And then we also see a single candle here. Later it was respected here as well. And then price ultimately went from respecting this demand zone here all the way up to this single candle supply zone and was respected here. And then in between, we see a good supply zone up in here. And then see a base demand zone that went all the way, push price up to here. So now what I'm going to do is draw my zones in these areas. And then we're going to move on. I'll try to make these as thin as possible. Not too much, because we don't want to make these zones too big for the smaller time frames. All right. So now I'm going to move on to the 30-minute. We're going to repeat the process. So it looked like we marked up this area pretty good. I'm going to move up to here and just give attention to these areas. So we see a single candle supply zone here. So let me make this green. Actually, I see a base supply zone here. Same here. We got a single candle supply zone up here. And then when we look down here as well, we see a single candle demand zone here. And then we also see it a base demand zone here that made price push up to here. So I'm going to draw my zones for these. Excuse me. All right. Now we're going to go to the 1 hour. We're going to do the same exact thing. So we're going to get these areas here. So when I analyze price, price respected this last zone and it pushed price down to here to push up to respect this zone. So let me so respected this area, and then when it broke and retested, ultimately it pushed price down. I can see next to this level here. And then we see a single candle demand zone here. So these are good areas. Well, we'll make these red. So now we're going to move to the 4-hour. So now that we move to the 4-hour, we're really going to analyze current price. So we see here that price respected this area and broke it and went down to this area here. Ultimately, price hit this demand zone down here. So we're going to make it purple. So when we really analyze this major sell-off and went down to here, then we did this major buy, pulled back to here. And then the next sell-off here was here. So we're just analyzing. And then the next buy up was up to this zone, respected it, it came back down to here, then respected this again, didn't even respect this zone, came back down to here. So you got to respect the area here. And then when price hit this main zone here, rejected it at least 4 times, made a huge drop. And then of course, price looks like price rejected an area up to here, made a drop to there, did a single candle demand zone, dropped to here, hit it a couple times, dropped to here. But then it looks like here, we can see that this was a base supply zone here. Demand zone. Looks like price rejected this area 1 and 2 and 3 and pushed up. And now we see that price rejected this area at least 2 times, and it looks like it's pushing down a little bit there. Now we're going to move on to the smaller time frame. So let's go to the 1 hour. So we can see that price is truly rejecting this area. I forgot to draw my zones. Let me do that. All right, great. So let's go to the 1 hour. So usually my bias is that price is going to at least test the area 2 times before, 2 to 3 times before dropping. So it tested this area. Now we saw that there was a minor rejection here. We see a couple wicks here. So I'm gonna look at that. We see one wick rejection here as well. So price could probably reject this and maybe reject this twice and then maybe buy up to the zone, test the zone again, and then drop. So let's go to the 30-minute. Yeah, I see a couple wick rejection there. So it might buy up shortly up to there. So now this is where we're at. So now I see some wick rejection here as well. So what I'm looking for is, I'm going to actually change this to supply demand zone entry here. So I'm looking for the next candle to close below down to here, but really the 930 candle. So I'm looking for it to close below. And if it does, then I'm looking for it to go to the very next zone. But if it closes above and buys up, then I'm looking to buy it up. So that's my goal. Now, when I look at the previous structure here, Price did reject this area. This was a single candle base zone, and it pushed all the way down to here, and then respected it, hit that and respected it. So it's in between zones. That's what it's looking like. But more than likely, price probably might be pushing through and maybe selling. But it could come down and reject this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit on my hands and wait. I'm going to wait for the 950 candle to close. And then I'm going to go with my bias. I'm thinking that price is overall bearish at this point. But we'll know for sure if the next candle closes below this line here. So it's really going to represent my zone. If it closes below and goes down to here, then I'm going to sell it to this liquidity point. But if it comes down to here and reject this area, kind of like what price did right here, then I'm buying it up. So let me pause this recording and wait for the 9:15 candle, and then I'm going to make my decision. Be right back. All right, so now we're at the 9:15 candle, and this is what I'm planning on doing. So I see that price rejected this area, came down, rejected this area, and pushed down. But I see a lot of wick rejection here. So I'm thinking that price is probably going to come up and test this area again, buy up, and then come down. So I'm going to go for the buy at this point. Now I'll go for the sell if it closes below and hit here, but I'm going to go for the buy. And I'm going to focus on getting 250 points of gold or over that. And then ultimately possibly get up here. And that's the goal there. See a lot of wick rejection. So that's what I'm looking at. Might push it up to here. Let's see. Down here is still, let's see, 250. I'll just move that up to here. And it might be pushing up already, but we still gonna wait. So now there's a possibility too. We actually have a zone up here. So price, price tested this area as well. So it could hit this area, come back down. The test that is in between zones. So I probably feel more comfortable maybe buying it up if it closes above here. And then vice versa. If price closes below this zone here, then I'll take it for a sell. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Because price rejected this area. So that's what I'm looking at. So let me adjust this here. Push it up to here, and then ultimately so this will be TP1. And we'll grab this liquidity up here. That'd be the second one. And then if price decides to sell down, then I'm going to get this zone here. It's going to have to close below and hit that. And if it goes down, we'll grab this liquidity down here. Then we'll try that. So we'll see what happens at the 9:30 bell. We have 10 minutes. Price could respect this area and then push up. And then if it closes above here and goes up, then I'll take it. So it could push up, reject this area, and then immediately drop and then cross here and go that. Or it can buy up, break the zone and go straight up. Or it could just go straight down. So we just have to catch that move when it happens. So let's sit on our hands and wait and see what happens. So let's wait for the 9:30 bell. Be right back. So just another note, we see that there was a 3-wick rejection here and it retested this area, but then we see a lot of wick rejection up in this area as well. So it's clear that the bulls and the bears are fighting back and forth. So we just need to figure out exactly who's going to win out of that fight. But because at this point, price rejected this area and closed up above before, but we see it's rejecting this area. So it could possibly sell, but we just never really know. It has a high probability of possibly selling. That's what I'm looking at. So, but it's really retesting this area as well. So price is going back and forth. We don't know who's really in control because this is a doji. So we need to wait for the next candle to really determine where price want to go. So we got about over 3 minutes for that. I'm really leaning towards the sell just because of the huge wick rejection that I've seen on this zone. So if the next candle closes below down here and it gains some momentum, I'm just going to go in, period. So we have about a little bit over a minute. We'll see what happens. 3, 2, 1. It did close below this zone, but I want to see if it's really rejecting like it did with this candle here. Looks like this is a single base zone here that's forming. So let's see if this zone is going to hold. Might be rejecting. Didn't even come back to reject this again. Just like it did up here, didn't even touch it. So if it came back up to here, It might be ready to push down. Let me pause this recording. I'm seeing this huge wick rejection here against this zone, just like it did previously up to here. So I'm thinking on the next candle, it's probably going to drop. That's usually, the sign of rejection on price action. And especially if it crosses this zone here, all these rejection wicks. I might wait for the next 9:45 candle, and then we'll just go in and see what happens. Be right back. Now, keep in mind as well, price did do a sell-off here, so this may be a single base demand zone here that price is respecting as well. So price pushes up and it buys up, then I'll know why. I'll know exactly why. And it's going up to test this area again. So that's fine. But I'm gonna stick to my bias and say that price is overall bearish, but possibly it could be turning bullish if it comes up above here. So we got 5 minutes into over 5 minutes until the next candle. So we got 20 seconds left to see what the next candle is going to do. Looks like it's really respecting this zone here. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like it closed above this candle, so maybe it's going to respect this area again because it did not punch through. It didn't punch further down here. So more likely we are bullish. Yeah, I'm thinking we're bullish, but could be wrong. Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to be going bullish. So we'll see if this next candle blows past. Let me pause this recording. Looks like price is passing this zone. So I went on ahead and executed a buy. And we're just going to stick with that. We'll see what happens there. Be right back. All right, so I closed my first partial trade of $115. So price bought up. So I'm about to trail this stop loss here. It's going to be 1746.62. Yeah, looks like it went down a little bit. Hold on. I'll go ahead and close my second partial trade. It's $5. Made $120 today, so that's good. So price ended up buying up. Now price could come back and retest this area and come down, or it could buy all the way up to here. But let me update this trend line. Price really rejected this area, kept on rejecting this demand zone. That's what made me figure that it was probably going to be a buy, because this demand zone held. It held previously before, made price go up to this point, and then it held all the way up to here. So price could come all the way up to this zone here, or it could continue to keep on buying up and going up to here. So I am going to do a back testing session on this, no question. Let me go ahead and document the results, and then I'll resume this recording. All right, guys, so it looks like price is still playing around between these two zones, but we did make our money until price hit here and then jumped out. So it's good we jumped out. But I think price is retesting this again, and it's probably going to go up further. So I am going to do a back testing session to further look this over. Before I wrap this up, let me share my phone screen so you guys can see the results that I had today. Give me 1 second here. As you can see on my first partial trade, $115, and I closed the second one at $4. So $120 profit. So that's great. So I am going to do a back testing session on this, kind of go over what we did. Looks like price is really respecting this area, so I'm thinking it's probably going to close up and then eventually go up to fill this liquidity. So it's probably what's going to happen. I'll back test it later on when price plays out. That's it for this live session, guys. See you next time. Bye.